Hi everyone, Drini here, and welcome to my channel. So as 2021 is coming to a close, this is actually a perfect opportunity to see where we are when it comes to the gaming crypto industry and try to assess it as objectively as we can. Because while we are all bullish that the metaverse or the gaming cryptos that we cover will eventually have their own successes throughout this crypto bull run, it is very important to keep things in perspective. When we can properly assess the strengths and weaknesses of the current industry so far, it allows us to identify when certain projects get it right, the red flags to watch out for, and understanding what are the success factors that are needed in order to have a very vibrant gaming crypto industry in the long run. So this topic could go anywhere. So for this video, I would only focus on the games themselves. We will not talk about the player base. We will not talk about the influencer ecosystem around gaming cryptos, because these two are whole different topics altogether. Another thing to note here is before I even begin, just a warning that you will hear some very inconvenient truths in this video. Because the whole point here is not to make you feel better. It is really trying to understand where we are now and where could we go moving forward. And to me, it is much better for everyone watching the video to hear all of the inconvenient truths about the industry instead of comforting lies. Because comforting lies, to be honest, will make you lose money in the investing space. And let's dive in. So 2021 has resulted in a boom of a lot of gaming crypto projects. You've had IDOs and ICOs left and right here. And right now, if you look at the metaverse category in CoinMarketCap, there are hundreds, if not thousands of games currently available and are currently underway. Of course, that's a good thing. But one key thing to note here is if you notice, there are only really a handful of games that are ranked highly within the whole crypto space, where we really only have 3 games that are currently out there in the top 100. You have Axie, you have Sandbox, and Gala. The rest of the games that we follow are unfortunately still below the 100 plus rankings. There's a reason for that, of course. That is because 90 to 95% of these projects are pretty much not done yet. Some projects don't even have alpha footage to showcase. So it's actually not surprising that the markets reflect that, expecting that our tokens would suddenly be 10, 20x before they even have a working viable product is of course unrealistic. And among the current games that have launched and are currently working with existing player bases, there's still a lot of things to be worked on. And I think I'm not overextending here when I say this. None of these games have actually figured out what the optimal player economy will be. And I mean none of them. From the massive SLP inflation to the Splinterlands airdrops that have subsequently resulted in SPS price going down, to the Thetan Arena game devs having to devise THC burn programs because they are all surprised that the game has suddenly skyrocketed so quickly. So now they're trying to figure out what systems need to be implemented within the game in order to balance out both the inflation rate of the rewards with the burn mechanisms of the tokens with the inherent utility of all of these. And of course, there's a very simple reason why gaming cryptos seem to be all over the place when it comes to their particular tokenomics. This is the very first time that we are experiencing all of this. So expect a lot of experimentation going around. Expect a lot of failed projects like your Eternal, which I believe was not intended to be a rug pull, but unfortunately, given its bad tokenomics, ended up a nightmare for a lot of its investors. Even the best way to have an IDO or an ICO among private investors and the general public still have to be figured out, because you have games, for example, like CryoWar and Thetan Arena, trying so hard to not have suppression of price in their tokens by having gradual release schedules, etc., etc. But unfortunately, in spite of their failed control efforts, you still have situations of major price suppressions of around 80-70%. But then on the other hand, you have very decentralized releases like Gala, which unfortunately the market also reacts very differently to that token, where you have violent bursts to the upside followed by very, very long consolidation phases before another subsequent violent upside moves and long consolidation phases. The industry, of course, also has its fair share of rug pulls, where developers will promise a particular project then suddenly just disappear from the face of the earth. Another thing to consider with the current industry so far is if you actually play these games that are currently active and have been released to the market, let's all be honest here. A lot of them are at best glorified free-to-play mobile games. If you remove the play-to-earn elements with a lot of these games, you are left with a glorified version of Flappy Bird. So right now, we haven't really seen AAA title quality like games, like your Counter-Strikes, like your Overwatches, like your Witcher 3s, like your Rocket Leagues, etc., etc. And the reason for that is quite simple. The industry is at its nascency. So the minimum viable product that is currently being released out there are the simple-to-program games. There's a reason for simplicity. You cannot have game-breaking bugs in your play-to-earn game. If an exploit is found by a small group of people, then say goodbye to your earning tokens. They will be massively inflated, they will be massively exploited, which will eventually lead to losing its value. So right now, it's very fair to say that the industry is very, very nascent. And while it appears that I'm sounding very pessimistic about the industry as a whole, that's far from the truth. There are very positive developments in the gaming industry space because of gaming cryptos. The first one is developer accountability is actually at its all-time high. Before the advent of gaming cryptos, we literally have to beg gaming developers to enact certain changes to the game. Nowadays, if you join Discord groups for particular projects, you have weekly town hall AMAs. Why? Because players are now also the owners of their respective games. So now there's a certain accountability that the game devs have to have with the community as well as their perspectives or points of view with regards to the game's direction. It is no longer a one-way street where we are begging for scraps while the developers can do whatever they want and exploit as much money as they can from the community. If a particular project is not good, players will abandon it for another project. And this level of competitiveness has resulted in developers really listening, enacting certain changes, etc., etc. Another positive development because of the gaming crypto space is because there are so many projects to cover and because there are so many mechanics that exist, as an investor, it actually gives us a lot of experience as to what mechanics lead to certain price action. And this will educate us in the future because when a particular new project comes out, we will be able to map their tokenomics and project it to certain price action in the future. So for example, if another project like Gala comes out, then we will be expecting the Gala price action to mirror that new project. Or if you have a project that is heavily protected when it comes to the supply because developers are scared, quote unquote, for the price to lose its value, then we will be expecting price trends like CryoWar, price trends like THG, where we do have to profit from it short term before the subsequent buy-in when the price crashes 70-80%. So all of these permutations are giving us a lot of information and are educating the broader player base as to how to navigate certain gaming cryptos moving forward. So overall, that is pretty much the state of the crypto gaming industry. We are still very, very young. Compared to other cryptos in general, we are still lagging behind when it comes to market caps, when it comes to interest among the broader general public. But the future remains bright for the metaverse. The future remains bright for the gaming cryptos that we follow because the crypto gaming space and the crypto space as a whole are providing opportunities that have never existed for us before. Never has it been more easy to invest in a project. This is the first time in a long time where you have a chance, regardless of how much you invested, to really experience 5, 10, 20x gains in a matter of a few months. So the crypto space still has a bright future, but if we were to realistically assess where we are nowhere close to ideal. There are still a lot of optimizations that have to happen, especially with the game economies that exist, and there's still a lot of education left to do, whether it's with respect to the existing crypto investors, all the way to the general public. But the best thing about all of these is I will be there with you along this very exciting ride. If you like that video, hit like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you want me to make a video about your favorite gaming crypto? Be a Patreon subscriber so you can request for it. Being a Patreon subscriber helps keep the channel sponsor, shill, and Moonboy free. Take care everyone. Bye-bye.